Okay. Okay, great. Finally. Sorry about that. Not sure what's going on. So hopefully you can also hear me. Let me know if I'm a talking head with no noise. My hair. So welcome to everybody. So yes, I'm in Florida. We came down yesterday for Everett's. Yeah, okay, great. Thank you, Kendra. We came down yesterday. We drove from Asheville down to Florida to go to Disney World for Everett's 60th birthday. He was 60 yesterday, so we're pretty excited about that. And I hope the lighting's okay. I had to turn the lamp kind of around away from me. It was washing everything out. Um, so that was fun. The traffic was fine until we got to Orlando. Then not so much fun, but we're used to that. It didn't really bother us. Um, so uh, yeah, and so last night we just went to dinner, and today one of the main reasons he wanted to come here was to go to this museum that we've been to once before called Fantasy of Flight. And I thought I would tell you a little bit about it. It's really amazing. So, those of you who live in Florida, hey, everybody, I miss everybody's name this time, but I'll try to get you guys before we log off. Hey, Rhonda. Hey, Kendra. Hey, Linda. Oh, gosh, Linda, it's good to have you on. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Kim. Hey, Debbie. Hey, Kathy. There's more than one Kathy on here. Let me see who I missed up here. Kelly. Hey, Kelly. Hey, Kathy. Renard. There's lots of Kathys. Brenda. I think I got everybody. So welcome. Oh, and everybody's cold and snowy. I'm sorry. Well, if it makes you feel any better, it's rainy down here. So um, today we went to Fantasy of Flight, which is an air museum. I can't think of exactly where it is. Maybe Lakeland or something like that. It's about 45 minutes. I want to say kind of south of Orlando, but it's been around for quite a while, and they have an amazing collection of planes in there. And so, if you have any interest in planes or World War II, and they have World War One planes in there, it's a great place to go, and it's well worth the price of admission. It's not really a museum; it's more of a collection, and it is the largest privately owned collection of aircraft. I know in the U.S. and maybe in the world. He said it today, and I can't remember. I banished Mr. Ponder from the room while we do this. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Mary. Um, so it's pretty cool. And most of the planes that they have will fly. They don't fly them all, but they all can fly again, or they have been flown recently. So some of them have been fully restored and can fly now. Some of them, they have everything they need to make them fly. It's just a matter of time to do it. And I think his name is Kermit. Can't think of his last name right now, but I think he owns, I want to say they said something like 200 planes. And they've got 50 of them. I want to say, well, there might just be 25 in that one hangar that they have open right now. But they have a whole nother section. They've been kind of developing this, like, I think one day if they follow through with everything with enough time, it'll be kind of like I don't want to say an amusement park, but an attraction like that. And I think they have the only, or at least the longest grass landing strip, um, maybe in the country, and certainly in this part of the country. So they're not associated with any airport in particular. They have their own little grass landing strip. Anyway, we went there about 12 years ago, right after we met, and it was just really cool. And so it doesn't seem like it's been that long since we've been here, but I'm telling you, COVID put a whammy on everything. It's like it's this weird time warp. And you think something happened not very long ago, and in reality, you have to add like 5 years to that, 4 or 5 years. It's weird. So we had a lot of fun, and I've got pictures and stuff, and maybe when I do another video, I'll put them in there. But it's for lack of a better word, it's some older men who do the tours and who are kind of like the docents. And when I say older, one of the tours today was done by a 91-year-old man who was fit as a fiddle, mind sharp as a tack, and it was fan freaking tastic. And these men are passionate about the history of the plains. And so we got there at, I'll tell you something really funny that happened, and I will talk about stitching in a minute too. Um, we got there at about 10:40 and it opened at 10. And I think the first tour was at 11 or 11:30. Anyway, we got there like literally like 15 minutes before the first tour. And and we stayed for 3 tours, which is all they did today. And so there was one like every hour, and it was a different person, a different man today that did them. And they all told something different and hit a different highlight, and it was just amazing. And so it's this big aircraft hangar, and they've got all these planes in there, and you just kind of walk around and you can see them. You're not supposed to touch them, although I touched one. I saw Everett touch one. He always touches them, always. If you watch him, he always touches. And so I try to get a picture of him sneaking over and touching stuff. And today I saw him do it, but I didn't have my camera up. And by the time I got my camera out, he wasn't touching it, but he was leaning in toward it. You could tell he had just touched it. He's naughty. Um, I should be prepared. I don't know why I wasn't. Because usually he's leaning over and touching it right in front of a sign that says "Do not touch." And God forbid, and I'm sure that all of you know this, if there's any kind of button that says "Do not push this button," I think he's not the only guy who cannot resist the urge to push the button. It's crazy. I've seen him do that, and if he can get to the button, he will push it, even if it says "Do not push this button." It's some psychological thing. It's just hilarious. And I knew another. My first husband did that. We house sat for a friend, and she had an alarm system, and it said "Do not," something like the button "Do not push it," or he didn't know what it was, and of course he pushed it and it set off the alarm. And so we didn't have the code. It was a nightmare. So guys and things like that. It's funny. So on the way there, I was kind of asleep. I took a nap and I woke up. He had his GPS on, and I woke up and his GPS announced that we had reached our destination. Now, yesterday she took us to the wrong place too. Mine doesn't do that. She took us to the completely, totally wrong restaurant yesterday. And that was a fiasco. And because nobody likes driving in Orlando traffic. So that was no fun. And today, when it said, "You have reached your destination," we were literally and I mean literally, in the middle of a bridge that ran over an interstate, and there was nothing around. And I was like, "Seriously? What have you done to make your little lady in that phone mad at you ever?" Because she's trying everywhere in the world to ditch you. It was so funny. And I mean, we weren't anywhere near the place. And I mean, I'm assuming he put it in there right. I just couldn't believe it. It was hilarious. And the look on his face was like he like literally didn't know what to do. And I know his mind was racing because he was like, "She just did this to me last night too." It was hilarious. And she did it to us at breakfast today too. And I mean, she got us close at breakfast, but it was still no cigar. And so I immediately whipped out my phone and found it. We had to drive another like 10 minutes to get there. So I don't know what's going on with this GPS. And I have not touched it. I know he thinks I did something to it, but I have not. He's just made his little lady mad. He's going to have to apologize or something because her leading him to the middle of the interstate to play in traffic was just hilarious. I was like, "Oh my gosh." I mean, his expression was completely like dumbfounded. Like he like literally, I mean, he almost stopped in the middle of the bridge, and I was like, "Dude, I don't think this is it." And I was just like, "You gonna get out in traffic now? What's gonna happen next?" So I whipped my phone out and find it, and we got there no problem. So for the rest of the day, we used my phone for directions. I was just like, "What's going on?" So that was pretty funny. So if you ever have a chance to go, I mean, admission is really cheap, and if you're over 55, it's cheaper, and both of us are. And so it was fun, and we stayed there for like I don't know, 4 hours or something like that. It was great. And today was an overcast, kind of rainy day, and we were, just taking it easy from yesterday. And so the next thing we did is he's got a friend that moved down here who is a pilot, but he's not here right now. And he's had this friend since forever. I mean, like since right after high school. And so he had reached out to his friend Calvin about visiting while we were here. Well, Calvin and his wife Edwina, they are not here right now. And so Calvin gave Everett his address where he lives because they bought a house here, but they also live at home. At home, they live in around Asheville, not exactly in Asheville, but right next to the next town over. I want to say, actually, I haven't been there. I'm not doing a good job of faking this. Barnardsville or Marshall or something like that, really close. And which is just like the next town over. And so Calvin gives Everett his address, says, "Hey, you guys can stay there if you want." Well, we've got a place to stay. And he goes, "Well, you can go by there and get the key and go inside." And I'm like, "Oh, he shouldn't have said that to Everett." So of course Everett's like, "We're only 45 minutes from Calvin's." I'm like, "Yeah, but Calvin's not there." He was like, "Yeah, but he said we could go look at it." And I'm like, "Okay." And so we drive to Calvin's and we pull. It's a beautiful, beautiful little house. It's really sweet. And we pull into the driveway and Everett immediately hops out. And I'm like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "I'm going to go look around." I said, "But Calvin's not here." And he was just like, and so he goes, "Look, Calvin's got a tobacco basket on the side of the house." And a tobacco basket, you used to, they're big square baskets. And they have a very distinct look. And you use them to gather tobacco leaves when you're pulling tobacco. And they did have one hanging on the house, which is one reason we knew for sure it was their house. Because that's not a common thing to see outside of North Carolina. And it was a pretty house. And so Everett's running around the house, looking around, and just being his goofy self. And it was just funny. And I took a picture of him so we could send it to Calvin. I didn't let him go inside. And so he gets back in the car and, we drive away. And there's lots of squirrels and stuff. It was fun. It was very pretty, very nice house. And, and it was right on the side of this. I don't know if it was a lake or a pond or an ocean body. I think because we're in Orlando, it must have just been a lake, says the mountain girl. And I am going to talk about the blessing sampler. I am. Yeah, I've got a little list here. I want to get to it. And so we're driving back the 45 minutes to where we started and then another, 15 or 20 minutes to the hotel, however it went. And Calvin calls, but he calls like, I don't know, 15 minutes after we left there. And he goes, Everett picks up the phone and he goes, "Hey, get out of my yard." And I was like, I just started laughing. Everett goes, "I think your security system's a little slow, Calvin." And so anyway, it was just really funny. So that's been our day. We went to the grocery store and we came home and we fixed some dinner and we listened to it rain. And it has been raining hard with lightning and stuff. So yes, it's raining. So we're not sure what we're going to do the rest of the week. The other big reason we came here, besides the museum or the fantasy of flight, was to go to the Star Wars attraction in Disney. And we went to or Disney's Animal Kingdom, the Wild Kingdom, Disney's Animal Kingdom. And we've been there a couple of times in the last 12 years. And we usually go to Universal because I'm a big Harry Potter fanatic. And Everett loves it too, and so does Emma. But this time I don't want to go to Universal because I think it's going to be super crowded. I don't even think you can get in there right now because the Epic theme park that opened, unless you buy like a 3 or 4 day pass. So we're not going to go this time. It's an 8-hour drive, 8.5-hour drive from Asheville. We need to come back down. We've got lots of friends in Florida. In fact, some of you are in Florida. Hey, Elizabeth. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Deb. Yeah, the expression. Hey, Kelly. Hey, Patty. And so my friend Lori, thank you, Lori, very much for the info, is a pretty big Disney fan, and she knew some tricks. And so she recommended at Stitch Night the other night. We had a great Stitch Night, by the way. You guys should come if you're ever in town on a Thursday night. It's a lot of fun. And she recommended that because they're doing the evening program at some parks for the holidays, that we go to the Hollywood Nights. It's at MGM, what used to be MGM, which is now Disney Hollywood something something. And so I've signed us up for that for Wednesday night. And so we're pretty excited about that. So we didn't want to go in the rain because it's raining. Normally, I like to go to amusement parks in the rain because a lot of the rides will keep running, but a lot of the people clear out. But I broke my second ankle this year back in May in the rain, and I don't like the rain so much right now. I'm kind of mad about it. I like it when it rains. I don't want to be out in it, and I don't want to be walking on pavement in the rain. And so, because I did not bounce, I used to bounce a little bit better. I did not bounce. I broke. And so, yeah, so we're gonna wait till it stops raining. So that's the other thing on our agenda, and I think we're gonna go to a medieval night dinner club, which is pretty fun. We like the Renaissance fair and stuff like that. And I've not been to a medieval dinner thing. Oh man, I'm 57, probably since I was like 22 or something. It's been a long time. So anyway, all that aside, that's what we're doing down here. And I only brought one thing to stitch, and I'm going to show it to you. I talked about it. I showed it on my floss too, but this is the picture for it. It's C's and Greetings. I might have showed it to you guys last Sunday. I don't remember. I've not stitched any more on it since the last time you saw it, and it is quite wrinkled up now. But this is still where I am. A little boat. It's a ink circles. This is the thread palette. It's very pretty for it. And I know that one of you at least bought a full kit, and some of you have bought the chart. It's fun. So thanks for that. Oh, Elizabeth is still working in the shop, so orders are still getting pulled and sent out. Thank you so much for all the great orders. We did get a whole lot of orders with our Black Friday through Cyber Monday sales. And so thank you for that. I did get, I think, almost all of the Linen Club finished cutting and the swatches and everything done. And so I think they've got a little bit of prep work to do, and they'll start shipping all that stuff out. So anyway, thank you, and thank you for being patient. But Elizabeth is working all week, and Emma, Everett's daughter, is going to be going in and helping packing. And I think Alex might be in one day next weekend. I can't remember. So thanks everybody for being patient while we get through those orders, and thank you for keeping them coming. It keeps the kitties fed, so we appreciate that. The little kitties need to have their feed. Herschel has a bad churro addiction. I don't know if you've got a cat, if you ever give them a churro treat, you better buy some stock and churros, because one is not enough. I'll just leave it there. Okay, what do I want to talk about next? First, I want to congratulate Elizabeth on a massive finish. Then I think she finished at 7:15. And gosh, let me see if I can find the name of it, because she posted the name of it. It's a really beautiful thing. Or Elizabeth, you can post the name of it. Oh yeah, so Elizabeth and Emma are double teaming Herschel because he has an anxiety issue, and one's going over in the morning and one's going in the evening. And Elizabeth stitches, and she said Herschel didn't let her leave without a treat. Yeah, he won't. He stands right by the cabinet, which is on the way out, and he expects you to give him that treat. Mermaid's Folly from the Courtney Collections. Absolutely gorgeous. So Elizabeth will post it on the Sassy Jacks page. She posted it on her page. You should go look at it. It's really beautiful. It looks like kind of like an ink sketch, but it's massive. It was big. It was a great stitch. Hello, Bedford, Texas, Stitcher 95. So congrats to Elizabeth on that. There have been lots of other great finishes. Not too long ago, Lisa Hurst, who's on here tonight, finished one of our samplers, some Sassafras samplers. She finished Mary Good, and she worked on that and posted progress pictures all along. And it was beautiful to watch it come to life. So thank you, Lisa, for stitching that for us and getting it done. So the other thing I did yesterday in the car on the way down is I went out and shopped at the Jingle Ball. So most of the time, I think only once have I not signed up for it, but I sign up for it and then I'm slammed and I don't get to actually even go look at anything. So this time I was signed up for it. And of course, Friday, I was slammed and I didn't even get to think about it. And I have some classes that I took, but I never get to do those because I'm just busy at the shop and stuff. But I will go look at the videos. And so one thing I've never done was go into their boutique, their shop, and look at their shop. I just never did that because I didn't expect to be shopping there. Oh, I'm glad you think she's a treasure. That's great. Um, she is beautiful. You did a great job with it, and I really enjoyed watching you stitch her. That was cool, or watching you post the pictures of you stitching her. Um, so yeah, so I was pretty excited, and I bought a few things, all PDFs, I think. But I hope you guys that went to the Jingle Ball had a good time. I've not watched any of the little videos or anything yet. I don't know when I'll have a chance to do that. Hopefully before the 30 days expires or whatever. But it looked like a pretty good time. So I hope you all had fun at that. Stephanie puts on a good show, and all the designers that were there. It's fun. Um, Common Thread Stitchers. Okay, I did see that, Linda. I was looking at the shops that were around here, and that's one I wasn't familiar with, but I didn't realize they were in Ocala. I will check them out. I did. I was going to try to get to Brick City, which I thought was in Ocala, but I might have that wrong. I'll go back and look at my thing. There's some place over on the Gulf Coast that Everett wants to go, and and I know there's a shop over there. I've been to the needlepoint shops over there, so I'm not going to go to those this time. But there, I want to see the cross stitch shops because I've never seen them. Yeah, it was the one that was a Brick City. Well, I didn't know. Maybe that's a new name for it. Is that the new name for it? Common Thread. Um, So let me know. Oh, well, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that's great. So yeah, I was planning on going there. So nice point. Yeah, we're gonna try to get there. They're not open tomorrow. So we were planning on doing that on Tuesday. And then we have another set of friends who are in Gainesville, Erlene, and Gary, and Everett and Gary are pretty good friends. And Gary's a vet. Everett is not a vet. He grew up on the farm and then went to work. He's well, he just turned 60, but um, anyway, there was not a major conflict at that age point that he would have gotten, went in at that time. And anyway, Gary has a lot of neat stories. He was in Vietnam, um, and had a really bad injury, but he's a neat guy. We like him a lot. And Everett and Gary get along really well. So we're going to try to jump up to Gainesville and see Arlene, and we might do that on the way. Maybe we might leave a day early, do that on the way home. 7 miles off the interstate okay, great. Good. Oh, I'm glad you had a good time, Patty. That's awesome. It was one of those things I wish I could have been in. And so the other thing that happened this past weekend was the Privies and Prims Stitch Retreat close to us in Maggie Valley. And I know Alex, one of my other helpers, was at that. Doreen Brannon hosts that, and that's always a good time. We were hoping to go down to that, and then I remembered it was Everett's birthday, so change of plans. So we did that. Okay, let's talk about some stitching. So the blessing sampler, and I still, every time I say the blessing, I must say it like the woman did on, or the uncle did on Chevy Chase's Christmas Vacation. I mentioned that last week too. It makes me think of that every time I say the blessing, because he goes, the blessing. If you've seen that movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I have to. I found two things when I stitched it that I need to change, and I have been wide open, to be honest, and I haven't been able to update it and get it posted. So I'm hoping I might have a little bit of time this week. I brought my stuff. So the blessing sampler is not on the website. That's what that is. And I'm sorry. I apologize for that. But it will be. Hopefully this week. If not this week, it will be there on Sunday. So I'm hoping I don't need to do much to it. I'm hoping I can do it while I'm here and get it posted. And I will post about it on our social media as soon as it is posted. So that'll be fun. So I'm sorry. Sorry I didn't get it done. But I tried real hard. I got all the Linen Club stuff done. Um, Christmas Vacation, that's right. So that was, yeah, play ball. That's what it's, play ball. It's so funny. That's what she says at the end. She stands up. They ask her to do the blessing, and she stands up and she says the Pledge of Allegiance. And at the end of it, she goes, play ball. It's so funny. And it's even funnier now that I'm getting older because I might be the one that does that. Um, okay, so that's the blessing sampler. It is not on the website yet, but it's coming. I've got to modify it just a bit. And then if I don't get it out there during the week this week, I will do it on Sunday when I'm home. But I will post about it on social media and I'll probably send out an email. So that's the other thing. One of the other things on my list is get on the newsletter list. I really think you want to, because we are going to be, we're going to be giving away not one, but two samplers because I listened to you all and you kind of split on whether you wanted a Dutch sampler or a Mexican sampler. And most of you, I think the majority of you last week wanted the Mexican sampler, and the majority of me wanted the Dutch sampler. so, so we're going to do them both. so, but I'm going to figure out how to do it so I don't confuse anybody because, part of one sampler, part of another sampler. I'll figure it out. I'll make it very, very clear. But the Mexican samplers, this particular one is smaller, and so it might not take all year, but I'll figure it out and we will get it. We'll start getting them out there. So make sure you're signed up because we're going to kick that off in December and show you pictures. And that way you can, decide what you want to do about kidding or whatever. And you don't have to kid it. You can kid it from stash. You can wait till the end and kid it. I will say though, they won't stay out there forever. They will probably be out there. We'll issue it part by part next year. And then when we're finished, we'll probably just give you 2 months and then we'll take them down. So don't be mad and don't be sad. Keep up and, get them downloaded. And I did upload the Saxon sampler. So I don't know why that wasn't out there. And I don't know how that happened, but I uploaded the hard copy. I didn't get a chance to put the PDF. But for those of you who let me know last week that we didn't have the Saxon sampler online, thank you for that. It is now. I did it last week, so it's out there. So thanks for that. Let's see. Can I vote for Dutch? Yeah, you can vote for Dutch. Oh, yeah. Great, Cheryl. You can stitch them both. Yeah, the majority of me, right? I do count my vote a little extra sometimes. That is the Southern way. Well, I think that's all over the U.S. Sometimes politics gets a little tricky like that. So, yeah, but we are going to do them both. That's what I decided. I think that'll be fun and fair and no reason not to that I can think of. And they're both beautiful. I think you're going to like them both. I think the Mexican one's going to go a little faster. It's a band sampler and it's a little smaller and I think it'll just move faster for you. It's a lot of stitching, but I think it'll move fast. The Dutch sampler is a little bit larger sampler and it's got a little bit of Bargello in it. It certainly has some more colors in it. It's just a beauty. I think you'll like it. Okay, so the other really awesome, very cool thing that happened was the North Carolina sampler from Heartsease Exemplar. And I can't believe I still said that wrong. I think it's exemplar, not exemplary. I might be wrong. Teresa Baird. And we talked about her a little bit. I talked about her in the video, I guess. Well, she issued her North Carolina sampler, issued it. She released it, and it is stunning. It's got beautiful stitches in it, beautiful motifs. She has a large order from us, and thank you to everybody who's pre-ordered it. I appreciate that. I hope you appreciate that I was very clear, that we didn't have it in hand yet, because it irritates me when other people don't say it, and they don't have it. We sometimes slip up and make mistakes and don't have something, but I don't intentionally do that to you unless I've very clearly told you that it's a pre-order. So thank you to everybody who pre-ordered it. I did check with her yesterday because she had thought that she would ship it by the end of this week, and she has got. We were one of 4 shops at the time that I talked to her last Monday that had ordered at that time. Only at that time. Lots more shops have jumped on that wagon. There was one really large order in front of us, and our order was also pretty large. And so, thank you for that. I think she said she was going to ship them early this week, so Monday, probably Tuesday. And I had to add to the order. That's why I was reaching out to her, and she said that was no problem. So I would expect that by midweek of this week, they'll be in the shop, and we will turn around and get those sent out. Everybody at the shop is ready and waiting for them. And when I get back, I will then talk to you about kitting and what the options for that are. It's a big sampler, and I don't think you need to rush into that. You need to know what the rules of engagement are on that and what your options are. And on that note, those of you who, yeah, fast stitching's not in my vocabulary either. I don't think I'm a fast stitcher. Those of you who love Silks by Hand Dyed by Vicki Clayton, she has been working very diligently on a conversion for that sampler. And we offered a little help on that front. And so, Elizabeth, thank you for that. Elizabeth worked on Saturday morning to help with a little bit, and so hopefully, if she doesn't have it yet, she'll have it soon. I know, so I'm excited about that. I'm going to look at. I love needlepoint ink too. I may do it in needlepoint ink, and I may do it in Vicki Clayton silks, and so we will have Vicki Clayton silks for that sampler as well as the needlepoint ink. And as Vicki said, there's 75 different colors of needlepoint ink. So what I would encourage you to do for whatever you're going to use, whether it's needlepoint ink or whether it's Vicki Clayton silks, you check your stash because it's such a big sampler. I don't think you're going to need brand new skeins for everything. With that many colors, there's 75 colors of needlepoint ink, and I want to say like 5 colors of Gloriana, 5 or 8 of Gloriana. I think Vicki is also doing a Tudor conversion. So if you're stitching on higher count linen, I think she's going to have that available for you too. So anyway, we're pretty stoked about that. I'm a big supporter of silks from Vicki Clayton. They're fun to stitch with and beautiful, and she's a nice person. The other thing that she did is I sent her the 2025 colorway for the AC Bluebird sampler, which is our first published sampler way back in 2018. And it's always been our most popular. It's a Quaker. It's most likely an Ackworth Quaker. It's really beautiful. And this year before market, we took it apart. We did it actually during COVID. We took it apart, looked at the back, and really took a hard look at all the colors and did some color matching to 103 Soie d'Alger and also to Classic Colorworks and to I'm sorry, I said 103 Soie d'Alger, 103 Avera Soie, and then of course Avera Soie d'Alger, and Classic Colorworks and Cosmo. And I do have a DMC conversion. It's not on the book. Somebody asked me for it by email, and if you're on here or if you see this, I did see your email, and I will get that to you. We'll get that to you, the DMC conversion. And if any of you want the DMC conversion, send us an email. There's 2 emails that we look at on a regular basis. hello@sassyjackstitchery.com and sassyjackstitchery@gmail.com. We're converting to the hello and getting rid of the Gmail, but we still get lots of traffic on both, and we'll probably have that Gmail forever. But hello@sassyjackstitchery.com and sassyjackstitchery@gmail.com. And we look at those actually come into the same inbox for me. So they just all come in there together, along with Sassy Jack's SJS classes. If you take a class with us, I break those out into something different so I can get to things really quickly on that. They all come into the same inbox. So if you're trying to reach us, any of those emails that you have for us will come. So I'm very excited about that. She just posted it. I saw on her page for AC Bluebird, and it is gorgeous. So I'm very excited about that. If you like Vicki Clayton silks, we already have those on the way. So she shipped them to us before I left. And we also have the same more silks coming in for the green bean sampler. So if you like the green bean sampler and you want to stitch those in Vicki Clayton, which is what I'm doing, those are on their way to the shop. They may be there tomorrow or Tuesday, but they were in the mail before I even left last week. And as soon as she has the North Carolina sampler set ready, at some point we'll bring those in too. But you can buy them from Vicki too. She will have them, and you can do that for any of them. You can buy them directly from Vicki if you want to directly support her too. I'm all for keeping us all afloat, so thank you for that. And I've got to look at fabric for that North Carolina sampler because we just never get any Lakeside anymore. And the model is stitched on Lakeside. It's beautiful. I want to say, I can't remember now which one, and I don't want to say it because I'll say it wrong. But I do know that we have linen that approximates most neutral colors in the Lakeside line. Maybe not exactly, but close. And so we will look at it and look at silks on it and threads on it and see what we think for that. Let's see. That was a whole bunch of things on my list. That was everything on one side of my list. So on the other side of my list, I did post a floss tube video last week. Like I said I would. It's the first time I followed through with that in a while. So it was a new one. It's number 47, which means 46 was missing. And I did that intentionally because before I even posted 47, I went in and I edited 46 and I've got it and I'm going to post it probably if the Wi-Fi here is working, and it apparently is at this moment. I'll probably post it tonight. So it's ready to roll. But I need to record a little entry to it to let you know that it's a really old one. It was actually recorded in July, all the way at the end of July. It was right before we had the Summer House Stitchworks retreat. And because I was talking about my spicy birthday, because I turned 57 August 3rd, so it wasn't even August yet. It was July. So if you haven't watched if you don't keep up with our FlossTube channel, I mean, of course, I would love it if you did. But I do try to show some fun stuff in there and keep people updated. And hopefully I'll be more current. I don't have time to make a new one this week, but since I had the old one, I thought, well, that's just perfect timing. So I'll post the old one for you. And I will tell you that 46 has a lot of beautiful whips in it and some finishes. Really beautiful stuff. It has a lot in there. And so I hope you enjoy that. It was fun. But just remember that it was a long time ago in a land far away. And I don't think there's anything in there that's wackadoodle or anything, but I did cut out the giveaways from it because I'm going to do those separate. I wanted to wait. I'm just going to do something fun with that little part of the video. So you've got the giveaways at the beginning, and those are legit. You can post for those. But the winners from the video before, I took that off, honestly, because the video was so long. And I didn't want to confuse it because I said last video and stuff. I just didn't want to create chaos since it's, out of order and so long. But I've got a little video that I'm going to put out there for you sometime soon that's just fun pictures and stuff of some things. And I'm going to attach it to that. It'll be fun. So look for number 46 from the vault soon this week. So, and thanks for watching those. I appreciate that. And thanks for watching these and coming tonight. Well, that's all the things on my list. Okay. So what do you guys want to talk about? Like I said, I only brought the one thing to stitch on, so I'm excited about that. I would like to get that done this season greetings. I'd like to get that done for Christmas. I don't think I'll get it framed in time, but I would like to have it done. Um, what else am I working on? I would like to get one of my gold work pieces done. I don't know if I will or not though. Um, I think I showed you guys maybe last Sunday night. I might have showed you the Elizabethan rose. Um, oh well, that's the other thing we can talk about. There's something else and another thing. Um, I would like to finish that, but I'm in a class. I'm doing an online class for that, and I don't think I'm supposed to finish that until January. So I'm gonna keep working on it though. I don't think I'll finish it ahead of time. Um, no need to record a beginning, just note it in the title. Oh, I can do that. I can do that. I just feel weird about it. Oh, I'll tell you something else funny, something odd about, and maybe those of you who do, oh, and let me, I'm all over the place. Everett has, he tells me that I've always been ADD, attention deficit disorder, because it jumps from one thing to another. But I think he's had that influence on me. What did he say to me in the car on the way here? He said, you've always been ADD. He goes, and I said something like, but I'm high functioning. He goes, oh yeah. He goes, you're high functioning. You're one of those people that when you get bored, instead of like trying to like knuckle down and like grin and grit your teeth and get through it like the rest of us, you just get up and walk away and say, I'm done with this. And I was laughing. And I said, you've got a point. I really do. Like, if I have to get something done, I get it done. But if I'm notorious, like if I'm like traveling with people and I'm not really interested in whatever we're looking at, I just walk. I mean, I don't make a fuss about it. I just leave. I did that at dinner last night. I think but he said that before dinner even. It was before we found the right restaurant, because I mentioned that we went to the wrong place. Well, we tried to make it work. And that was a bad idea. And so we went in there. We were looking for one of those Japanese, he says, toss them and throw them in front of you places. But like, we were looking for a hibachi place. And we ended up at a Japanese restaurant that was something else. And they sat us in the bar. And it was little round tables, and it was really loud music. And it was not at all the ambiance that I was looking for. Sorry, get a little drink. This is a Coke Zero. So I was going to try to make it work because it was raining, and I had walked through the rain to get in there. And we sat down, and there was some trash on the table that she sat us at. So I was like, "Can you get that trash off the table?" And I'm not usually a princess, but I was not happy. And we look at the menu, and he's like, "Well, I don't even see like whatever he was looking for on there." And I said, "Well, do you want to go someplace else?" He goes, I think we might have to. And that's all he had to say. And I was up and out the door. I didn't even, I pushed my little chair in. I laid my menu down. I said, I'm sorry, we're going to go somewhere else. And I was out the door. And he's still sitting there. And, he's Mr. Chatty Cathy. And so he's in there. He asked the waitress, I thought that was rude, but he asked her if she could recommend another restaurant that was more hibachi. And as fate would have it, she recommended the restaurant that we were looking for to begin with. So anyway, that was pretty funny. So I did get up and walk right out of that, and I will do that. I will leave a restaurant in a heartbeat if I'm not happy. I am a little bit of a prima donna when it comes to, I don't need fancy food, but I need to be comfortable that it's either what I want or it's clean and it's good. And if any of those don't work, we might have a problem. So, yeah, so he's convinced that I'm pretty ADD, which I am, which is why I was skipping all over the place. All right, so I got that whole story out of the way. I forgot what I was going to tell you now. It's terrible. I'm sorry. I'm also, I'm at that age, that menopause age. So it doesn't take much for me to lose my train of thought. Help me remember what we were talking about before I took that little detour. Let's see. Where was I? Oh, okay. I know one thing I was going to tell you about. Two things. Okay, I've got it all back now. Thanks for hanging with me. I hope you guys are laughing with me as well as at me. So two things. Both of the people that work with me in the shop on a really regular basis do floss tubes. And Alex Medford does a floss tube, and it is called Elizabeth. Help me with what Alex's is called, um, or somebody else on here that knows what it is. Blah, blah, blah. She does it with her cousin, and it's really, really good. Uh, I might look it up in a minute if somebody else, maybe Elizabeth will look it up and tell us. And then Elizabeth does one, and it's called, I think, Elizabeth, post the name of yours on there too. I think it's Elizabeth Stitches. And Elizabeth deleted all of her old ones last week and put up a new one. And it's really cool because it goes through a lot of her whips, not all of them. She has corrected me several times in saying that she has a whole nother container of whips and or finishes that she didn't go through. But you get to see her cat, Harry, and it's fun. Oh, there's an app for Florida restaurants. Okay. Yeah. The Life Kitchen. Yeah. So, yeah, I do. If I'm in a place I don't know about, I do check their ratings and stuff and what people are saying about them. I'm one of those people that has really bad restaurant karma. Um, and everybody, all my family know about it, and all my friends who go with me on a regular basis know about it. I just I'm the one, who's gonna have something bad happen to them in a restaurant, like something wrong with their food. And I don't mean just, oh, it's overcooked or it's undercooked. It's gonna be like, oh wow, there's like a whole finger in there. I mean, that's extreme, but I'm telling you, if it's gonna happen to anybody it's gonna be me. And I'm gonna see it. That's the other thing. Um I'm going to get back to my other thing, but I wanted to tell you about the floss tubes. I'm giving Elizabeth a minute to post the names because I know she's going to look. If she doesn't look, I'll look it up in a minute. But I know Elizabeth's is called Elizabeth Stitches, and it's fun. And you should watch Elizabeth's stuff because she does beautiful stitching and she is prolific. She gets stuff done. And then Alex and her cousin are just really fun, and they've got a nice banter back and forth. And we'll get the name of theirs too. It's fun. And I'll post them. I'll post them at some point on our social media so you can go watch them, but they're great. Um, and so when Everett and I were dating, I learned how to ride a motorcycle because I knew he was a big motorcycle person. And I bought a Harley Davidson, which I don't ride. I don't like to ride it. And I got my license and everything in Raleigh, and he's in Asheville. And so I did all this on my own so that I could ride with him. And I bought a really inexpensive Harley. Like it was like a $3,000 bike. It was nothing crazy. And and then I don't like riding it. And so I ride on the back of his. I used to. I don't like riding at all now. And I've kind of gotten to that point that I just don't do it. I'm afraid in fact, I'm not afraid I'm gonna go down. I know that it's a matter of timing. And at one point in my lifetime, if I stay on those bikes, I will go down. And I don't like the idea of going down. And so I have really stopped riding. And but at this point, we're still dating and we're going for a ride. It was Memorial Day weekend. I still remember it. And this is, we might have been dating for like 2 years. And it was a beautiful day. And we stopped for breakfast somewhere. I know where. It was at the Waffle House, but it wasn't in my hometown. It was a little bit further out. And I'm prolific for looking at all of my food before I eat it. Like if it's a sandwich, I deconstruct it and put it back together. I always do it. And there's a reason I do it. And and it's kind of it's kind of biblical because if you seek, you shall find. And that is, but I know, I have to check it. It's just obsessive compulsive for me. And so, and because I check so much, I find things. And so I'm almost finished with my waffle. And that's all I got was a waffle. And I decided to check it. And there's not a lot to check on a waffle. you just can turn it over and look at the bottom. And I turned it over and there was a hair on the bottom. It was a big hair and it wasn't mine. And it was on the bottom. So I knew it wasn't mine. And I was just like, oh, and Everett was like, oh no, because this is like, this is not going to go well. This is the beginning of the end for the day, And so I didn't make a scene about it because I've had too many things happen. I don't make a scene about it, but I won't finish eating. And sometimes I can't eat for the rest of the day. I don't know. It's like I'm a delicate flower when it comes to food. I'll tell you what it is. It's like I'm a magnet for the bad karma. I have bad restaurant karma. I think that's how I started that sentence out. Um, anyway, so if I take you to a restaurant, you know that it is tried, true, and tested, and I like it. And that's saying something. That is saying something. So, if you're ever in town, when we do events and stuff, and usually I'll take out the designer and I'll usually invite a couple of students and I make it random. It is in no way, shape, or form always the same people. I'll grab whoever's around or whatever, and I'll invite or somebody that's by themselves, and I will take them to dinner too with the teacher, whoever. But if I take you someplace, you know that it's okay. It's gonna be a good place. Um, Anyway, so the other thing that I wanted to mention was the whole Brita Mart sampler. So I've not started mine yet. I wanted to bring it down here, but I knew I wouldn't get it started. And so I didn't, but I'm really excited. I've got all my stuff together. I'm ready to start. I'm going to start that and work on that before the end of the year. I'm pretty excited about that. And then the other thing, the reason I thought about it was because of the Elizabethan rose. See, I'm circling back. I know how to drive in a circle. I'm circling back. I'm getting there. Um, the Elizabethan rose, because I mentioned my Elizabethan rose that I was working on in Goldwork. Actually, I don't think she called it an Elizabethan rose. Well, I don't remember what Katie called hers, but it is like an Elizabethan rose. She might have called it something else, but she's got a class out there for it. At first, I was kind of like, because it's got a lot of needle lace, and I have a phobia about needle lace. You ask about the hairless restaurants. Yeah, Lisa. Oh, that's awful. Um, mm. uh, so, her class with her rose, it's beautiful. I forget what she's called it. It might be something else. Has a lot of needle lace in it. And I've been practicing, and I do believe embroidery is a practice, right? It's kind of like you say you practice law. And when I was, and I'm still an accountant, but when I had in my other career, it was a practice, because you never attain perfection. And so it's a practice. And so when I think of embroidery, to me, it's a practice. And that's how I think of my journey with embroidery as a practice. I like to learn and do, and you can tell I'm in a humid climate because my hair is curling because it has a lot of natural curl in it, fortunately, and it's getting all wavy, and that's great. Um, it was really curly like this in St. Croix. Maybe that's not curly to you, but to me that is. Um, so I think of embroidery as a practice, and I would encourage you to, if you're branching out away from cross stitch and you're doing specialty stitches, and maybe you're doing some surface embroidery or you're thinking about it, think of it as a practice. And by that I mean not everything has to be perfect because it won't be. If you're learning and growing, it won't look perfect. Not in the beginning. It'll look beautiful. Always it will be beautiful, right? And even if it's not exactly what you wanted it to be, it's a great experience and you learned a lot. And the last stitches you put in are going to be better than your first ones. So that's how I think of embroidery as a practice. So anyway, Katie's new piece with that rose is very similar to my Elizabethan rose. And at first I was like, because it had needle lace on it. And I usually put the brakes on when I see needle lace. I'm like, no. And I watched her video and I was like, oh, I do like that. And I went out and bought it. So it came right before I left. And there's no way I'll get that done before the end of the year. So I'm excited about what I am going to try to get done, which is going to be this season greetings and one of my gold work pieces. Maybe I'll get the thistle done. I think I could finish that thistle that I showed you guys. And one of my classmates from that retreat I went on in Scotland didn't only just finish her gold work thistles, she did another one. And she used some threads that she had in stash, and she used some green on those thistle buds, and it was beautiful. And so I'm thinking I might stitch another one of those as well. Susan was her name. It's beautiful. Um, so that's what I'm working on and hoping to get done by the end of the year. And I would love to know what you guys are trying to finish before the end of the year. I did have a birthday gift I was making for Everett um, that I started last year. It was supposed to be, I think it was supposed to be last year's birthday, and I didn't make it. I didn't finish it. And I want to look up Alex's thing because nobody said it yet. It was something about twigs and something. I won't be able to find it. I'll post it. I'll post it on my page. Alex's floss tube, Alex Medford. I can't think of it, but I know Elizabeth is Elizabeth Stitches. She'll probably be mad at me for saying it, but you should watch them. They're all fun. Everybody is, it's fun to see what people are working on. I love it. Katie Strachan, if you don't watch her, you should for sure watch her. And what else am I going to try to finish before the end of the year? That's probably it. Today's December the 7th. Today is the day that Pearl Harbor was bombed. So that's always on my mind. My dad and 4 of his brothers were in World War II together. So there were 5 brothers. There was one more brother, but he was way too young. He was like 16. My dad was actually too young. I think he volunteered. He might have lied about his age or something, but I can't remember now. He was in the Marines, along with one of my uncles in the Marines. One was in the Navy, I think, and the other 2 might have been in the Army. They had great stories to tell. So whenever there's a World War II memorial or event or something, I think of them, and I think of my grandmother, who I never got to know, and how horrendous that must have been to have 5 of her sons. Her husband was already gone. To have 5 of her sons in World War II together. And so when I see these old planes and I listen to these guys talk about them, who they aren't even old enough to have been in World War II. But some of them were in Korea and in Vietnam, and I'm just very grateful for the sacrifice of everybody. So I always think about that. So today's a little bit of a somber day from that perspective, but it's also a day to be very grateful for what all of our men and women who serve do for us, so that we can have these funny little meetings and laugh and just enjoy each other. So Little House Stitches. Thank you, Gwen. I knew somebody would do it. Thank you. Little House Stitches is Alex and her cousin. So a little bit of a somber note. But I would encourage you. Here's my other little feedback for the day. Make the time and take the trip. So that's what I did coming down here. There is never a good time to leave your work or your business or your family or your pets. Sometimes you need to make the time and take the trip. And when I'm both the last few times I've been here, my mind goes back to a time about, oh gosh, more than 20 years ago, when my dad came down with my sister and my niece and my nephew, who at the time they might have been 10 and 12. They were littles. And my first husband and myself came down from Raleigh and met them all. And those memories of my family here at Disney World together is just a treasure. And having those memories of my dad, the first roller coaster I ever rode, I was 7 years old. I was way too young, and I was sitting on my dad's lap on Space Mountain at Disney World. And I remember my head banging against his chest the whole time because I was way too little. And he rode roller coasters with me well into his 70s. He until he got vertigo and he couldn't do it. I want to say he was probably 78 or 79 before he stopped riding roller coasters and water rides with me. And he rode water rides even after he stopped riding roller coasters. And the only reason he stopped was vertigo. But lots of great memories with friends and family. And, if you can, I don't care if it's just going and meeting somebody to stitch. Even if it's inconvenient, make the time and take the time and go. Like, I've done a couple of those trips this year where I went and met some friends and just stitched. And it was by no means convenient to get where I went, but great memories that I'll have forever. And hopefully I wasn't so annoying that my friends that my friends will have memories forever, but not in a great way. Hopefully it's a good way. So anyway, that's all I would encourage you to do is get away every now and then. Everett seems to be very happy just to be away from home, and he loves home. He loves being at home, but he's very happy to get away because we just don't do it enough. So I hope that I see all of you again next week. I'm going to wrap this up, and happy stitching this week. So this Tuesday is, I'm probably not going to be able to do it this Tuesday, but it's a crewel work company stitch. So if you do crewel work or gold work and you want to join one of our crewel work company stitches, maybe not this week, and maybe we might just have to put that off until after Christmas. It's going to be a little hairy from now to the end of the year. So we won't do that, but my throat is getting dry. But we did do our first long dog. Well, not our first. We did do a long dog ink circle stitch along last Tuesday, and that was a lot of fun. And if you've ever taken a Jackie Duplessis class with us and you want to stitch with us, we're going to be kicking up that stitch group too and doing that. So have a good week, and I will see you on YouTube, and then I'll see you back next Sunday night. I'll be back at home, and I'll see you then. Have a great week, and thank you for joining. Sorry, my throat is dry. Bye, everybody. Have a good night.